Greg Cote, Miami Herald columnist, and he's all in for the Dolphins tanking. I'm wondering if the fans tank too, Greg, and just don't show up this year and say, you know what, let's see how this works out. We'll see you next year.
Well, they had a full house for the opener, but a lot of that's just because it's the opener and it's curiosity factor and all that. I'm sure that they're going to see a bunch of no-shows as the season wears on. And I use the phrase wears on literally. I mean, it's going to be a long one.
Okay.
So, I would imagine that they're going to see a lot of empty seats.
Who's making this decision to tank?
I think it starts from the top with Stephen Ross, the owner. He's been with the club now 10 years or so, and it's been the same wheel spinning for 20 years, ever since post-Marino, really. It's just been a series of nonstop mediocrity, mid-round draft picks, and wheel spinning. And I think finally Ross came to the realization that this business model is not working. We have to really break it down and start from the ground floor up. And that's what they've done. And, they've accrued they have 4 first-round draft picks in the next 2 drafts. They have 8 picks in the first 2 rounds in the next 2 drafts. So they're pretty well positioned to get a franchise quarterback and to really go from zero to something in the next year or 2.
Yeah, but if you're Tua Tagovailoa, why would you want to go into this situation, Greg, where you're going to be running for your life, just traded away your best offensive lineman, you don't have any weapons, and you're going to be asked to be the savior for a bad team for a couple of years?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But the other thought is they draft a franchise quarterback, and they also have another first-round pick and 2 second-round picks to go get a lineman or 2 or a pass rusher or something else they really need. I don't know how a rookie quarterback is going to look at it, but in my mind, there's something to be said for, hey, I'm going to be the savior here. I'm going to turn this franchise around, and I'm going to be the hero.
Well, my concern is because of who they've drafted, they're in this situation. So now how can I count on those who have been drafting to then draft better with all these draft picks that you're getting by tanking?
Well, that's a fair question. They don't have a great track record. I think they have made a couple of decent picks in the past 2 or 3 years. They've sort of had an uptick in their draft success, but it's all a crapshoot down here. It's similar to what the Marlins are doing, really, and what Derek Jeter's doing down here. He's asking fans to trust him when fans have had very little reason to trust anything to do with the Marlins, and it's sort of the same with the Dolphins right now.
I did wonder this, Greg, and maybe this is stretching the story, that the Dolphins are just waiting out Tom Brady.
Yeah, we've been thinking and saying and writing that down here for at least 5 years. I mean, at least 5 years. We're waiting for Belichick to retire, and we're waiting for Brady to get really old, and neither seems to be happening. But yeah, there is some truth to that. There is light after Brady. There's some hope there alone, but what the Dolphins really just need is a franchise quarterback. You see it all over the NFL. Whether it's Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, one great quarterback can truly turn around a franchise, and I think that's what they're counting on.
I joked about this when Josh Rosen was traded to the Dolphins, and I said, you know what? He could end up in the same situation. The Dolphins have the worst record. You bring in your quarterback, Tua, just like Arizona did. Is Josh Rosen going to get a fair shake here?
Yeah, I think he will. I'm astonished that they didn't start the season with him. It's really an anomaly to be a rebuilding team and to start a 36-year-old journeyman. They should have gone with Rosen from the outset. But my understanding is that they're probably going to make a switch right around the bye. I think they have a 5th-week bye. They're going to go with the veteran the first few games, I think, and then you'll see a lot of Rosen. The imperative this season is they need to have an idea what they have in Josh Rosen. If miraculously a light bulb goes on and all of a sudden he looks like a really good quarterback, then in him you either have a steady starter for next year while the rookie develops, or you have trade bait. Perhaps he develops a market for Josh Rosen. So there's a number of reasons to really find out what you have in Rosen.
Would you rather cover a bad team or a mediocre team?
I've always said that I want one extreme or the other. I want the team chasing a Super Bowl, or I want the absolute dire calamity of a 1-15 season. It's the mediocrity. It's all these run of 7 and 9 type seasons that really bores your tears, I think. I don't know how fans feel, but as a journalist, that's the way I feel.
Have a good weekend, Greg. Tell Stu Gatz and Dan that we said hello.
We'll do it. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Greg. Greg Cote, Miami Herald columnist.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.